who has revived his career to become a National League All-Star. Tonight, he faces the rival Dodgers and their Triple Crown threat, Matt Kemp, who's putting up MVP-type numbers. It's the Giants and the Dodgers. Game 1 next. It was a spectacular day in the city by the bay, and the Giants are glad to be home after taking 3 out of 4 in San Diego. Tonight, it's the Giants and the Dodgers. Hello, everyone. I'm John Miller, along with Mike Krukow. Welcome to San Francisco Giants baseball. They've got a 3.5 game lead in the division. The Dodgers are way down, 12.5 games out. Ryan Vogelsong, All-Star Ryan Vogelsong, will be facing a couple of his All-Star game teammates. The Dodgers are down, but they have a lot of talent nonetheless.
Well, the Dodgers do have a lot of talent, and of course the rivalry always seems that the standings don't always dictate who is the better team that given night, but it is a fact that the Dodgers are 12 games back in the loss column of the Giants coming into tonight's ball game. They need to make a move this week, and it's especially important that they play well against the Giants. The Giants, on the other hand, they have a chance to really put the Dodgers in a hole perhaps that they might start breaking up the team because it's such a deep hole. So there's motivation on both sides of the field from the Dodgers and the Giants' perspective. For Ryan Vogelsong, against this Dodger team, it's always you have to control the All-Stars, and the All-Stars are Andre Ethier and Matt Kemp.
Meanwhile, for the Giants, a great 4 days in San Diego, and a game yesterday that was evocative of the dead ball era, and the Giants played that brand of ball well. 6 steals and a suicide squeeze to win the game.
Well, you never know if they're going to win on a balk or a bases-loaded walk or a suicide squeeze. We just know that it's going to be entertaining. Now, I think Bruce Bochy would prefer to have, a couple of games where he scores 7 runs for the first time in this ballpark this year. But, the bottom line is they don't need to score runs to win. And they have that swagger that whatever it takes, they'll find a way to do it. And that's a pretty good thing to have.
Well, and they did that 3 times in San Diego. Yesterday with that suicide squeeze bunt. When we come back, we'll revisit that play as the Giants won it on some old-time baseball. Xfinity is TV, internet, and voice services that work together so you can enjoy everything you love anytime, anywhere, and any way you want. Here at AT&T Park, there's the Orlando Cepeda statue. Out toward the left field corner, outside the ballpark, the Giants and the Dodgers ready to play inside. Yesterday, the Giants with a dramatic victory in 11 innings over the Padres. They had some great pitching, as you might expect. And also, they played some little ball exceedingly well with 6 steals. And then they won the game with some daring do on the base paths.
Well, let's go to our Xfinity Game Vision. Remember, with Xfinity Game Vision, you too can control the action at home, controlling the video using play, pause, fast forward, and rewind. And yesterday, it was a perfectly executed suicide squeeze by Chris Stewart that scored Emmanuel Burris, and the runner had to time it as perfectly as the hitter. And Chad Qualls, the pitcher, was victimized, and that was the difference in the ball game. And that is our Xfinity Game Vision. It's powered by Xfinity TV with On Demand, the only place you can catch complete replays of every Giants game all season long. Just tune to Channel 1.
Now, that was the winning run of the game. The Padres staged a would-be rally in the last of the 11th against Brian Wilson, and the Giants' defense rose to the occasion. We'll come back and look at that after this. To you by Xfinity. Xfinity is TV, internet, and voice services that work together so you can enjoy everything you love anytime, anywhere, and any way you want. Giants and Dodgers, fans still coming into the ballpark. Time now for our Giants defensive coverage, brought to you by Verizon Wireless, the fastest 4G network in America. Giants had that one-run lead, 11th inning, 2-men on, nobody out in the bunt.
Well, Kyle Phillips could not get it out far enough. Chris Stewart jumps on it, throws a seed to Pablo Sandoval, who comes across the diamond to Aubrey Huff, and they get a rare 2-5-4 double play. And that was Emmanuel Burris making the play at first base.
So that was huge, as Brian Wilson was struggling with his control, but he got the save. The key ingredients for tonight's game brought to you by Round Table. Fresh from the market and right to your table, Round Table is introducing their new Farmers Market pepperoni pizza, just $15 for a large.
There are 3 key ingredients tonight. Number 1, you've got to contain the All-Stars. And when you play the Dodgers, you're aware of where Andre Ether is. You're aware of what Matt Kemp is. You've got to keep those guys in the ballpark, and you've got to contain them. Number 2, Ryan Vogelsong.
Last couple starts, he got a little leaky with his fastball command. That has been his biggest asset this year. He needs to be able to control the corners with the fastball in this game tonight. Number 3, as always, plug into the crowd. This is the greatest home field advantage in sports this year, and the Giants have used it all year. And against the Dodgers, they're going to need to find that energy again, and that's our roundtable key ingredients.
Ryan Vogelsong has finished his warm-ups. We're just a few moments away from getting started. Stay with us. We'll come back with the lineups and then the Giants and the Dodgers after this. Getting ready to take the field. Behind him, Ryan Vogelsong, Giants starter tonight. And we are just moments away from the Giants and the Dodgers. Let's take a look at the Dodger lineup. Turned in by, well, in fact, it's about to be turned in by manager Don Mattingly as the umpires have gathered at home plate. Here's the Dodger lineup. Rafael Furcal at shortstop. Aaron Miles, second base. Andre Ethier, right field. He was an all-star. Matt Kemp having a great year, second in the league in homers, third in the league in runs batted in. Center field hitting cleanup. Juan Rivera, recently acquired, in left field. James Loney, first base. The former Giant Juan Uribe, suffering through a real bad season so far, hitting only .206. He's at third. Ron Barajas, the catcher. Chad Billingsley is the pitcher. The Dodgers, and it has certainly been the season of their discontent, as the headlines have not been so much about the Dodgers but about what's going on off the field. First off with the divorce trial, and then as the season began, the Dodgers and their financial difficulties, now in bankruptcy court. The Dodgers also struggling on the field, 11 games under 500 and 12 and a half games back of the Giants as the day begins. Vogelsong and the Giants take the hill.
On the hill tonight for the Giants will be the 33-year-old right-hander, will turn 34 in about a week. Ryan Vogelsong, 6'4", 215-pounder in his fifth year at the big league level. This is what he has done this year. 6-1, 2.17 ERA, 70 strikeouts in 91 1/3 against 32 walks, and those are the numbers that put him on the National League All-Star team this year. Against the Dodgers, he's still looking for his first win against LA. 0-1 lifetime with a 5.96 ERA. When you face Vogelsong, you have to be aware that he can do a number of things with the ball. Number one, he is an outstanding fastball pitcher, which means he can go to both sides of the plate with the 2 and the 4-seam grip with consistency. Vogelsong also can give you a great changeup, curveball, slider combination, and he will cut the fastball, especially on the inside corner to the lefty away from a righty.
Still discussing the ground rules over adjacent to home plate with the umpires. Don Mattingly, Giants bench coach. Ron Wovis also out there.
Defensively behind Vogelsong, the Giants are going to set it up with Ross, Torres, and Sherholtz in the outfield. Tejada and Sandoval, that's the left side of the infield. Fontenot and Hump on the right side. And Chris Stewart, he will be in the squad putting down the signs. There are no babies out there on the field. A lot of years experience on the field for both teams tonight, as this is an all-important game, especially for the Dodgers, who trailed the Giants 12 games in the loss column.
The umpires came out on the field a little bit later than normal, but also the discussion about the ground rules lasted much longer than normal. Don Mattingly wanted to apparently some clarifications on a few things. They have broken that up now. Apparently everybody's got all the info, and here we go. Adrian Johnson heads down the third base line, part of the crew working here tonight. The plate umpire Fieldon Culbreth dusting off the plate, getting it first pitch ready, and Chris Stewart back behind the plate, and Rafael Furcal, who has been injured and has had so many injuries. When he went down yet again this year, he was so distraught that night at the ballpark after the game. He said, man, I may just have to retire. This is such a downer. But he's back and he's trying to get it going. He shows bunt, takes a fastball in there for a strike. 65 degrees, the official game time temperature here at AT&T Park. Temperatures are in the 70s in the city today. Pablo Sandoval playing shallow at third for the speedy Furcal. And the curve is in the dirt on the inside.
Fieldon Culbreth, the home plate umpire, I mean, he's a low ball umpire, but he has a very tight zone. If you were to say, is he a hitter or a pitcher umpire, you would say that he is an umpire that favors the hitter because his zone is so small.
Vogelsong has not pitched in a game since a week ago Friday, 10 days ago. That one is along the left field line. Ross starts over, but it is back into the crowd. And it is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Vogelsong would be leading the league in earned run average with his 2.17 ERA. However, he has not pitched enough innings to qualify. You must have at least 1 inning per games played by your team to qualify. He has 91 1/3 innings. The Giants have played 96 games, so he could move up to the top of the league tonight if things go well for him. There's a ball down and in. 2-2 the count. But that's the kind of year the Vogelsong has had. Even with his recent control issues in his last 3 starts, he's walked 13 in 18+ innings. Vogelsong has been sensational, especially with men on base. At the knees, strike 3 call.
And that's Fieldon Culbreth's zone. He likes that low strike. You'll see some low strikes called tonight that you don't normally see. And both teams will find it out early. That is right to his wheelhouse. And Vogelsong, as he so often will do, likes to stay with that fastball a lot early the first time through the lineup.
Well, here is Aaron Miles now. Veteran switch hitter, hitting .316 for LA. He's a singles hitter primarily. 1 home run, 23 batted in. Into left field, Cody Ross back in the penalty area, and that is out number 2. Now, if this were a soccer game, that would have been a problem and maybe a penalty kick for hitting the ball with his hand. You can't do that in the penalty area.
You can see the lines on the field. It was a soccer game here during the All-Star break.
So Cody Ross out in left field is out in the penalty area, not far from the goal. Andre Ethier to the plate, and he is mired in a slump here. He made the All-Star team. He's having an excellent first half, among the league leaders in hitting, but 3 for his last 32, and it's 0-1. Ethier 9 home runs, 23 doubles, 44 driven in. That one is hit well. Left center field. Racing back Torres. He gets there. 3 up and 3 down. 8-pitch inning for Vogelsong. Francisco. The Giants batting order now brought to you by Jeep. The things we make us. Andres Torres in center. Mike Fontenot at second. Pablo Sandoval third base. Nate Scherholtz 362 for the month of July. He's hot. He's in right field. Aubrey Huff at first. Cody Ross left field. Miguel Tejada at short, and his bat has been speaking loudly. Chris Stewart, who knocked in the winner yesterday, and Ryan Vogelsong, the pitcher, batting ninth, all up against Chad Billingsley.
Take a look at the Dodger right-hander, Chad Billingsley, 26 years old. He's in his 6th year at the big league level, and these are his numbers: 8.7, 3.87 ERA. It's a good numbers against the Giants. 7-4 lifetime with a 3.01 ERA.
Just off the outside to Torres.
And when you hit out Billingsley, you'll be aware that he is like Vogelsong, and that he'll corner pitch those with his fastball, 2 and 4 seam, 90-94ish.
2-0.
He'll also throw a cut fastball, a curveball, and a changeup. And he's a power guy, and he likes to throw that fastball. Really a style very similar to that of Ryan Vogelsong.
There is Uribe. Now quickly to his left. He got it. The wind took hold of it.
Take a look at the defense playing behind Chad Billingsley for the Dodgers tonight. It'll be Rivera, Kemp, and Ethier. That's your outfield for Colin Uribe on the left side, Miles and Loney on the right side, and Rod Barajas, he'll be in the squad putting down the sides.
Here is Fontenot. Giants are facing Billingsley, who is the hottest that he's been this year. Billingsley in his last 4 starts is 3-1 with a 1.32 earned run average. He's only allowed 4 runs in those 4 starts combined. The last 2 starts, 8 innings each, and just 3 runs allowed. Curveball is low. Fontenot is hitting .232. 1 out, nobody on, no score in the game. It was such a glorious day here in the city today and all over the Bay Area. And now that July thing is happening. This afternoon the fog rolled in through the Golden Gate over the hills, and it is upon us right above the San Francisco Oakland Bay Bridge and right over AT&T Park. There's James Loney. And 2 men are gone. Giants got in at a very reasonable hour last night from San Diego, fresh from their victory. What an interesting game that was yesterday with the suicide squeeze to knock in the winning run. 6 steals. The Giants equaled, as you see the top of one Rincon, the tower on the top of Rincon Hill there. It's there, but it's not easy to see it. 2 down, and here is Pablo Sandoval. The Giants came from behind in the late innings to win that ball game too. And they found out they could steal bases, and they just kept on stealing them. The winning run actually was set up when Burris stole second and went to third on a wild throw by the catcher, setting up the squeeze. Pablo Sandoval, who had his hitting streak ended in San Diego, but he's started another one. Had a single and a walk yesterday, hitting .301 for the year. Dodgers came in from Arizona, where they lost 2 out of 3 to the second place Diamondbacks. They won the first game but lost the next 2. Got the call on that one. Pablo thought it was a little wide. 1-2 the count.
One thing about this Dodger team, they're a pretty good defensive club. They rank second in the National League. They've made 46 errors. Philadelphia leads the National League. They've made 45. Giants rank 12th. They've made 66.
That one shot hard over at the Giants dugout. That had some guys scrambling. That was right toward Matt Cain and Santiago Casilla. And they watch the action. Matt Cain, who got the start yesterday, only 1 earned run allowed. The Giants did not play well defensively behind him on occasion. Cost him a couple of unearned runs. Well, he went up after that high fastball and got a piece of it.
Elevator fastball right above the hands, perfectly placed. You see what Pablo has done against Billingsley over the years. 182, couple of doubles, 6 for 33. So Billingsley has had pretty good ownage on him.
And he's not the only one. As you pointed out, he's had a lot of success against the Giants. Base hit. Got the curveball and drove it right through the left side.
Now let's take a look at our Toyota by the numbers. Toyota is the most fuel efficient fuel line on a manufacturer, period. Giants yesterday, 6 stolen bags. That ties the San Francisco record. Burris and Schuerholz, he's had 2 apiece. Torres stole his 12th base. That leads the team. And Whiteside stole his 2nd career base. Last time they had 6 in a game was 1987. I remember that game.
It was a pretty good year for the Giants, 1987.
It was.
At the Astrodome, they had 6 steals in a game.
Kevin Mitchell had 3.
No.
He did.
Wow.
He also hit a home run in that game. I remember because I pitched it. We had a 4-0 lead. They caught us.
No.
Yep. We won it though, 6-4.
And were you still around?
I came out as 7th.
No decision?
No decision.
Bummer. Back into the crowd. 0-2 the count to Schuerholz. By the way, yesterday Schuerholz with his 2 steals, that's the first time in his career that he's had 2. And when you saw him do it, you kept thinking to yourself, man, he could do that a lot more than he's done. Schuerholz has great speed. It was nice to see him get a couple of steals. He got 7 for the year. But Kevin Mitchell, that's got to be the only 3-steal game he ever had.
Well, I would think so, but with Kevin Mitchell, you never know. He gets a wild hair up his nose. He's able to do something just for the fun of it.
Well, he was a great athlete. A great player.
He really was. And so much fun to play with. You hang around that guy, you were going to smile and laugh because he liked to have fun.
1-2 to Schuerholz. And the changeup up and away. On deck, Aubrey Huff, number 17. First of 3, the Giants and the Dodgers. Tomorrow again at 7:15. Madison Bumgarner and Ruby De La Rosa, and then a day game at 12:45 on Wednesday. Two aces, Lincecum and Kershaw. Into the right field corner to the first archway. Pablo stumbled a bit coming around second, and he'll be held at third. Ethier with a nice relay right to Miles, who will run it back in.
Well, another two-strike at bat for Nate Scherholz, and it's really become so noticeable the last several weeks where he has made the adjustment. Once he gets into a two-strike situation, he gets quick, he gets short, he protects, and he lets his hands think for themselves. Good balance, good throw of the bat. Body right between the legs. He kept a good back foot. Look at him drive this thing right through almost to the foul pole. And let's watch the Panda go from first to third. Pick up your base, coach. And Flannery puts the stop sign up.
So here now is Aubrey Huff. It started with 2 down, a single by Pablo, and then the double by Scherholz, and a curveball catches the outside. On 1 to Aubrey Huff. 235 average, 9 home runs, 46 batted in, only 4 for 24 at lifetime versus Billingsley. And he did well to lay off that one. 1 ball, 1 strike. Giants and Dodgers. This is the 10th game of the year between the two rivals. Giants are 5-4 so far against LA. Remember, they opened the season in LA and lost 3 out of 4. Cued that one foul past third. Off speed delivery that was down, and the count 1-2. Giants started the year in Southern California, and it was not pretty. They lost 4 of the first 5, also losing a game in San Diego after leaving LA. But they have rebounded nicely against the Dodgers since then. And against the Padres, too, for that matter. They've won 5 of their last 6 against the Padres now. And the fastball. 94 miles an hour, but out of the strike zone, and Huff takes it for ball 2. And the Giants are making Billingsley work hard in this first inning.
That's what you have to do. You have to get into the Dodger bullpen. That's where they're weak. They've had some problems down there. And I mean, their starters will go deep pretty consistently, but they've had problems in that pen, and that's where you want to go.
It's hanging and right to Kemp. 2 hits for the Giants, 2 left. On to the second. Matt Kemp will be coming up against Vogelsong. National League Central Division with all their big sluggers. The Giants will then hit the road for a week, and when they come back, second place Arizona for a head-to-head with the Giants on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Tickets available at sfgiants.com. Now's the time to get in on the action for the Giants and the D-backs the first 3 days in August. Matt Kemp, the hitter. Fastball for a called strike from Vogelsong. Vogelsong, Bruce Bochy announced before the All-Star game that Vogelsong was going to be his guy, his long man, should the game go extra innings. It did not, and Vogelsong did not pitch in that game. Right there, outside corner again, it's 0-2. So he's had a good long rest between starts.
He's had a couple chances to throw on the side to work his mechanics back into where he's comfortable with them. And right away it's showing because he does have better command with the fastball tonight.
And he went up with the fastball, fouled out of play. Matt Kemp, what a year he's having. And he's among the league leaders in almost any offensive category you'd care to mention. Second in homers, third in RBIs. So he's still a guy that might have visions of a triple crown, although he is 40 points behind Jose Reyes, who leads the league at 354 right now. The curveball puts him away.
That's something they have not seen him do very much, and that's go out of the strike zone. And early on in April, when the Giants saw Matt Kemp for the first time, they tried all series to get him to go out of the strike zone. He would not bite. It's something he did consistently last year, and he really tightened his act up. But here he chased a good hard curveball out of the zone 0-2, and Vogelsong gets a nice pitch.
Vogelsong has retired the first 4, 2 on strikeouts, and here is Juan Rivera, right-hander against right-hander. Rivera just picked up by the Dodgers. This is his 3rd game with LA. 2 hits, 8 at-bats, including a home run. Overall, 6 home runs, 28 runs batted in, including his time in the American League this year. Rivera for a long time was with the Angels. And that's a ball down and away. He homered on the first pitch he saw as a Dodger. He was with Toronto and was acquired by the Dodgers in a trade on the day of the All-Star game last Tuesday. Foul tipped. 2-1 the count.
It's a challenge fastball and a 2-0 count. One thing about Vogelsong, I mean, he believes in that fastball. I mean, he's always done that too. When we first saw him come up to the big leagues back in the late 90s when he was just a puppy, he really believed in that fastball. And back then he was throwing it 94, 96. Kind of a 2-pitch guy back then. Now he can do about 6 things with the ball.
1 out, bases empty, no score. On the hands, and Tejada has to come in for that little flare. 2 down. Giants baseball is brought to you by Volvo, the best in class, safe and secure coverage plan. Pay nothing to repair or maintain your new Volvo for 5 years.
Well, he really planted that fastball in tight on the hands of Rivera. Beautiful pitch.
Rivera has always been a guy who has been at his best against left-handed pitching. But in there against a right-hander, the Dodgers need a left fielder. They've gone through 9 left fielders so far this year. There's ball 1 to James Loney. 2 down, nobody on. No score here in the second. Vin Scully, the great legendary voice of the Dodgers, said that no Dodger team in LA has gone through so many left fielders since the 1958 Dodgers. And that's a called strike. That was their first year in the West Coast. There's the great Vin Scully.
Well, he was calling it back in 1958.
He said they had 11 different left fielders back in 58. The fans get into their first Beat LA chant. Just a little bit low.
Change it. He didn't miss by much. That's the one difference. If you look at what he does now as a pitcher as to what he did when he first came to the big leagues. Back in the big leagues, when things would go against him, he would add. He would try and throw more fastball, throw harder. Now he goes the other way. He subtracts.
Right to Sandoval. And that's another perfect inning in the books for Ryan Vogelsong. Cody Ross coming up for the Giants. 0-0.
to left field. There goes number 3,000. Willie Mays gets his 3,000 base hit.
Russ Hodges, who broadcast Willie Mays' entire career. Willie broke in 1951. Russ Hodges was already the voice of the Giants. Russ Hodges, who rated at the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum in Cooperstown, New York, the legendary voice of the Giants, and a legendary broadcaster describing the legendary exploits of Willie Mays. First ball swinging, Cody Ross fouls out to James Loney, just like that. One away here in the Giants' second. Tejada coming up. I remember listening to the ball game the night that Willie Mays passed Mel Ott on the all-time home run list, and not many guys had passed Mel Ott at that time, and he did it against the Dodgers at Candlestick Park. And Russ Hodges interviewed Willie Mays after the game and asked him about it and which home runs were the most memorable for him. And then Willie said, well, Russ, I ought to ask you that. I've hit so many of them, they kind of run together, but you broadcast all of them. Which do you think was the most memorable?
Yes. Good response. I bet Russ had a few answers.
Willie Mays at the ballpark tonight. So that was 41 years ago today. At number 24, Willie Mays got his 3,000th career hit.
Still hard to believe that he's 80 years old. He looks fantastic.
The great Willie Mays, the great Giant, the ultimate Giant, and you could make a strong argument the best player there ever was in the dirt outside from Billingsley. Chris Stewart is on deck for the Giants, who had that suicide squeeze yesterday. There's an interesting backstory as to how Bruce Bochy discovered that he was a good bunter, because I think we all know now he's a real good bunter. So how did he swing? Yeah, and he's out. Tagged out. So that is out number 2. Back on June the 10th, he was up with runners at second and third against Cincinnati, and one out. The pitcher was up next. Bruce Bochy had seen him fail to bunt a couple of times in the spring. He says, well, I'd like to squeeze with him, but he's not good at it. But then later in the game, leading off an inning in a tie game, he led off with that bunt hit.
That's a perfect bunt.
And eventually came around to score the go-ahead run that night. And Bruce Bochy, after he beat out the bunt, he saw him and he said, wait a minute, where'd that come from? Why don't you tell me you could bunt like that? I would have had you squeeze back in the second inning. He said, hey, I'm a pretty good bunter. So he's had a lot of chances to lay down bunts since, including the game-winning RBI yesterday on a suicide squeeze. Got jabbed on that one, and there is Barajas. Barajas was kind of stumbling around after that one, but he caught it, and the Giants are quickly retired. Vogelsong back to the hill. Willie Mays, 3,000 hits. Forced to becoming world champions last October, but then he went and signed with the Dodgers. But go back to last October. This was the game-winning RBI, a home run that broke a 2-2 tie in Game 6, the clinching game for the Giants. And ultimately, it proved to be a pennant-winning RBI. Uribe didn't have that many hits in the postseason. I think he was 8 for 50 in the whole postseason, a 160 average, but every hit he had seemed to be a big one that knocked in a key run, not just a run, but a key run. But now Uribe in Dodger blue, and he got a few boos here tonight when he was introduced between innings. Uribe having a terrible year for the Dodgers, though. 206 batting average. On the outside corner at the knees from Vogelsong. But Uribe just has not been able to get it going at any time, and he's been struggling even worse here lately. He's had 253 at bats, just a bit low.
But he's dangerous, and he can change a game with one swing of the bat, as we saw him do in the playoffs last year. And pitching against him, you have to respect that. You've got to be careful.
That's a foul.
Ooh, nice play. Check out Stretch making a play.
Wow, the guy in the McCovey shirt, just like McCovey.
All right, let's see the pick. Backhander.
Stretch, yeah, he stretched out, didn't he?
Yep. Taking a bow. He deserved it.
Two and two to Uribe. And that will go back out of play into the upper deck.
All right, check out this gal right here. Oh, my. As he leaned over and caught that thing, he saved a couple of bruises for a couple of people. Yep, that gal right there. Thank you very much.
Two and two the count to Uribe. The curveball strikes him out.
Oh, same pitch he got Matt Kemp with, and he saved it for the two-strike surprise. Had him way out front. It really is curveball. It's kind of a breaking ball and a big off-speed pitch as well. Nice pitch. Well, you still have a chance to win a 2010 World Series championship ring donated by Tiffany & Company throughout the Giants World Series raffle. Proceeds from the raffle benefit the Giants Community Fund, and one lucky winner will receive an authentic World Series ring personalized with your last name. Go to sfgiants.com/ring raffle and check it out.
Rod Barajas, powerful right-handed batting catcher. It's 0-1, hitting only .216, but he does have 8 home runs. He seems to hit a lot of home runs against the Giants, or at least he has these last couple of years. Just back from the disabled list for the start of the second half. That's a foul ball. Nice pickup by Pablo, even though it was foul. And a souvenir for a fan.
You look at Rod Barajas' swing, and he's got a little uppercut. I think it's a swing built for hanging sliders. Lots of power, and he has done some damage against the Giants. But he is a lift and separate guy. He's got holes. If you can pitch to those holes, you can get him out consistently. But if you make a mistake, he will make you pay. Saw the target from Chris Stewart. They wanted to go up and in above the hands. That's one hole.
That curve, Pablo's got it up to his feet. 2 down. Pablo went down to that ground ball and he got real small. The ball was very close to the ground.
Well, he's no catcher. Once in a while he turns back into a catcher. Catchers get small so they don't get foul balls dinged off them. Vogelsong said, yeah, Pablo, you the man.
Here's Chad Billingsley. 8 straight retired by Vogelsong. Billingsley, who swings the bat well, lofts one into the crowd off the right field line.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the best hitting pitchers in the league.
He's had 8 hits and 30 at bats, a .267 average, 3 doubles and a homer. No score in the game. Vogelsong off to a great beginning in this one. That curveball hangs a little bit up and in. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cubs won tonight over the Phillies, 6-1.
W hanging the W sign out there, the W flag up there on the scoreboard at Wrigley Field.
It was a real hot night in Chicago. Heat wave. Roy Halladay was the starter for the Phillies, and he had to leave in the 4th inning due to heat exhaustion, we're told. Halladay gave up 3 runs and 7 hits in 4 innings. 2-2 the count to Billingsley.
Bill Miller, first base umpire. I think he enjoyed giving the sign that it was a swing.
And the curveball fouled, and it remains 2-2.
He's hung a couple of those breaking balls to Billingsley in this at bat. What happens every once in a while, you'll go through the lineup and you're looking at your target, you're following through, and then all of a sudden a pitcher gets in there and you start looking at him. And I think that's happened with a couple of the curveballs he's throwing in this at bat.
Just off the outside.
Vogelsong thought he had it. He was walking off the mound. Sit up in that outside corner. Fastball just a little outside. Gildy Cobra says,
He walked him. That's the first base runner for the Dodgers. So Billingsley takes first, and here is Rafael Furcal, who struck out looking his first time. Colorado, 3rd place in the West, 9.5 back of the Giants. And they're at home. They're, historically, that's where good things have happened for the Rockies. Did he swing? No. Adrian Johnson, the 3rd base umpire, said no. 1 ball and no strikes. 2 down runner at first. And Aubrey Huff will not play in the bag to try and hold Billingsley. For Colin, switch hitter, batting left-handed, and that's off the inside. It's 2-0.
Well, not a bad thing to get in your stretch for the first time when there's 2 outs in an inning.
This is his first sequence of pitches working from the stretch in this game. Got the call on the inside there. Furcal didn't like it. 2-1 the count. Anyway, Colorado is at home tonight and trailing Atlanta 7-4. The Rockies have lost 2 in a row at home, and they had taken 2 in a row from Milwaukee. Now, as you see it on the hand-operated scoreboard, that sinker is low. So now it's 3-1. Aaron Miles is on deck, but the Rockies are having a hard time at home, and that's been the story of their season. They're 24-24 at Coors Field.
That's unbelievable. That's always been a big home field advantage ballpark.
Tejada boots it. Everybody's safe. And then Tejada falls over, and he may have injured himself trying to make that play. It'll be scored as an error.
Does not look good.
Mark Grusbeck, assistant trainer.
He was having a good month. Tejada, the month of July, hit .341. He's been one of the really consistent hitters in the Giants lineup. finally starting to get his batting average up. Got up, it looked like he was grabbing the groin area in his left leg. He's done.
He's walking very gingerly off the field with the assistance of Mark Grusbeck. And Brandon Crawford will go in. Meanwhile, the Dodgers with a threat here with 2 down, and Crawford will get some throws to warm up his arm. But Tejada has been an important bat here the last couple of weeks.
Well, everything looked pretty solid right here. But that step right there when he kind of came crossover, it was kind of an odd angle, and that's where he felt it. Well, hopefully it's nothing serious.
So Crawford is in. Mike Fontenot had a groin muscle strain, and he was out for, what, several weeks.
Yeah, it was almost like a broken bone.
He was out on a rehab shortly after he went down with the injury, and then aggravated the injury, and then was out for a good long while. 2 men on, 2 men out, no score. Miles the hitter. Curveball. 0-1.
And a good one. Sometimes there can be a little gray area when you go deep into a ball game without getting into your stretch. When you finally get into it, maybe 3 or 4 pitches where you don't quite have the release, but he's got it back now. That was a good curveball.
That's a foul out of play. 0-2 the count. With 2 down and nobody on, Billingsley drew a walk for Carl, has reached on the error. Charge to Tejada. 2 men on, 2 men out for LA.
Another exceptional athlete from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, catching that foul ball.
Really?
Yeah.
From what I've seen working with you,
yeah,
there's never been one dropped by a Cal Poly alum. He swung at it. Strike 3. Adrian Johnson, the third base umpire, rings him up. The inning is over. For instance, Brandon Belt has been up to the big leagues this year. He was the Pacific Coast League Player of the Week, hitting .462. in only 13 at bats, and is hitting .333 in 42 games at Fresno. 7 home runs and a .469 on base percentage, and an ops, that's OPS, is over 1,000. That's pretty good ops.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Xfinity Future Focus is brought to you by Xfinity. TV, internet, and voice reinvented. Here's Vogelsong. A strike. Ops is sort of a shorthand GMs, managers will use to get an idea what kind of a year a player's having. You just add the on-base percentage to the slugging percentage, and the two numbers together give you that figure. Miles throws out Vogelsong. 1 away. No score here in the last of the third. The top of the order coming up now.
That did not feel good for Ryan Vogelsong. I think that ball was about halfway between his thumbs and the label on his bat. He really ran that thing up on the inside corner.
Here now is Andres Torres, who popped up the third his first time. And that is ball one. We were talking about Willie Mays' 3,000th hit 41 years ago today. And we heard Russ Hodges describe the base hit. We're talking about Russ. Russ's longtime partner, also in the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, Lon Simmons, who was there that day as well and described a lot of the exploits of Willie Mays and other great Giant stars. Lon Simmons is here. He's at the ballpark tonight.
Flew all the way in from Hawaii.
Lon just said, "I'll be darned." Anyway, it's always great to see Lon, the great voice of the Giants. He and Russ were the Giants broadcasters the first year. The Giants were in San Francisco, 1958. Here's
Lon just said not just the first year in San Francisco, the first year ever 129 years ago. Lon,
now see that I didn't realize that.
Lon, you're not that old, Lon.
I always wanted him to tell me the story about Roger Connor back in the 1890s. He was such a big guy and hit the ball with such power that they named the club after him. His nickname was the Giant. That's it for Torres. Out number 2.
Good curveball for Billingsley. Our game breakdown is brought to you by our Carl's Jr. Charbroil burgers are the greatest things, but they're not as good as our hand-breaded chicken filet. Oh yeah, hand-breaded chicken filet. Gotta have one right now. That's Carl's Jr.
Carl's Jr. Here is Fontenot. And that's ball one. Giants got 2 hits with 2 down in the first inning, but have not had a base runner since. Aubrey Huff, with those 2 men out, hit a line drive, but right to the center fielder to end the inning. And nobody's really hit the ball hard against Billingsley since then. 2-0 to Fontenot. What was it, about 10 days ago, Al Michaels and Bob Costas were here working the ball game on national TV. And it's 2-1 now to Fontenot. And Al Michaels, the night before, they were just here watching the ball game. He had a lot of Lon Simmons stories.
Now, are those stories we can tell over the air?
No, not really. There's a ball up and away, and it's 3-1.
Now, Billingsley has established that he's got just about command of everything. Curveball, a changeup, a cutter. You saw him throwing a 1-0 count here to get strike 1 against Fontenot.
But now he's got a 3-1 pitch to make here with Pablo Sandoval on deck. Broken back. Wow. Back just exploded. Thrown out by Billingsley. We're heading to the 4th inning. The big hitters are coming up.
at 7 p.m. But until then, for everything Giants, check out NBCBayArea.com and search for The Cove. Deep coverage of the team, the players, the opponents to watch, even a peek into the ballpark. The Cove on NBCBayArea.com. No score as we head to the top of the fourth inning. Another duel, as we have so often seen this season. This time it's Ryan Vogelsong and Chad Billingsley who are putting up 0 after 0.
Sorry, I just wanted to talk to Lon for a little bit.
I wanted to talk to Lon.
Sorry, I was talking to him.
It's such a Hall of Famer thing.
Wait your turn. Ball 1 to Ethier.
He looks good. Always a joy to see Lon Simmons.
Curveball. 1-1.
The best part about Lon Simmons is he really is an encyclopedia to the era of the Giants when they first came to San Francisco, and his recall is total. He's got so many wonderful stories about all those great early Giants teams.
That's foul ball.
And it's the real story.
Well, he was there, and he was very close. I mean, he remained close friends with so many of those Giants players, and to this day, close friends with Mays and McCovey, Jimmy Davenport. It was a tight-knit group. 2-2.
Well, he said back in those days, the guys who made the most money were the broadcasters. They made more money than the ball players. So he says, I was the guy that was always picking up the bar tab on the road.
Well, he would always have a night off on a road trip sometime in the summer, and he would take all the coaches out for a big dinner party, and it was all on him. That's a fair ball. Aubrey Huff with the put out. Andre Ethier is gone. Giants baseball is brought to you by Jeep. The things we make us.
Ted, the fastball command from Ryan Vogelsong tonight has been fantastic. Another perfectly placed fastball in on the hands of Andre Ethier. Really ran that thing up the bat, got off the sweet spot.
Matt Kemp having the great year for the Dodgers, fouling one away. There's so much that's been written about the Dodgers here recently, and some of it's fascinating, but it doesn't have to do with sports. It has to do with courtrooms and bankruptcy courts, divorce courts. And while the Dodgers insist, the players, that, hey, we don't let that stuff bother us. It doesn't come into the clubhouse. There is some speculation that as long as that's continuing on, as Clayton Kershaw looks on for the dugout, what about the future contracts for guys like Matt Kemp and Andre Ethier? That curveball in for a strike. 1-2. Ethier could be a free agent even after this year. He's eligible for arbitration, and Matt Kemp, I guess, has a couple of years left before he could move on. And that's all speculation. Nobody, I guess, has looked at the books other than divorce court lawyers or bankruptcy court lawyers and judges.
And you cannot tell me that it does not affect a team when there's that much controversy in the newspapers every day, because writers come to the ballpark and they ask the players about the divorce proceedings, about the bankruptcy proceedings, and players don't want to talk about that. They want to talk about the season.
1-2. That's up the middle, base hit. So Vogelsong got ahead of him and got that ball in toward the hands, and he still was able to muscle it through the middle.
Now it's a beautiful swing that he's had all year, and this is another example of it. The ball goes where he wants it. They ran that ball in on him, but you see the inside out approach going right back up the middle. He doesn't hit this thing on the sweet spot, but look at the balance, and the knob lead the swing, and really has great control of that bat head, using the middle of the diamond with a 2-strike count. And that's how you have good years.
And the Giants have to be very wary now, because another big part of his game is stealing a bag, and this is a spot where a stolen base could be huge. No score in the 4th inning. He's had 27 steals in 30 tries. He's had 90% success when he's attempted to steal. Is third in the league in steals.
Well, and the stolen base percentage is off the charts.
27 out of 30. Only Jose Reyes and Michael Bourne in the National League have stolen more. That's a strike, and it's 0-2 to Juan Rivera. The other big thing about the Dodgers, though, if you're a player, even if you're not being asked about all the off-the-field stuff surrounding the franchise, you go to Dodger Stadium, nobody's there. Even when the Giants were there for the Giants and Dodgers the last time.
There's a silent protest going on in Los Angeles.
The stadium was amazingly empty. He was leaning the wrong way, but got back ahead of the time.
Now, Vogelsong will definitely give Chris Stewart a chance to throw out Kemp, and with Stewart's arm, it ought to be pretty interesting should Kemp decide to steal. And there you see that lean. Had that throw over been a little more towards the right side of the bag, they'd have had him. There's the lean. He was going.
0-2 to Rivera, who's a slow runner. He's a real double play candidate. The runner going, and that's a base hit. Hit and run single right through the hole. Kemp over to third.
Wow, what a nice 2-strike at bat that was. Again, you know, Rivera's a guy who's got power, and he takes a lot of swing out just to put it in play. A little cutter off the plate. You see him reach through, and with Fontenot covering, with Kemp's steal attempt, he vacates his position, and Rivera takes advantage of it. That's nice bat control. 2 good 2-strike at bats here by the Dodgers to set up a first and third, 1 out.
So Kemp is the Dodgers' first runner to get as far as third. James Loney, the hitter. Giants will look for the double play ball to try and end the inning. Loney trying to get that runner home from third with less than 2 down. He's got 4 home runs for the year, 31 runs batted in. Loney grounded to third his first time. Ball 1.
Now here's where you pitch for the ground ball early in the count. Then if you get to an 0-2 or a 1-2, then you can pitch for a strikeout. But you should be trying to pound the zone with sinker, hard sliders, anything you can, any kind of movement you can have that has good, sharp downward bite to it that gets ground balls. That's what you're looking to do. Get that ground ball. Look for something to get 2 outs quick.
Off the inside, 2-0.
Now this becomes a big pitch.
Loney facing Ryan Vogelsong for the first time in this game. So he's only had the 1 at bat. He's to see Billingsley looking on from the dugout. And he curves him on 2-0 and drops it in for a strike.
And that's after he's seen 2 fastballs too. So you know he was sitting on a 2-0 fastball. Completely took away the 2-0 count with a nice curveball. Beautiful. Locks him up.
And he went down for that curveball, fouling it. 2-2.
Now, as big in his heart as his curveball is tonight, I mean, he could throw another one. That'd be 3 in a row. He could try and bounce it on home plate. And maybe if he hits it, it's a good chance if it's down low enough below the knees, he would get the ground ball he's looking for. But here's where you take a shot at trying to strike him out.
Nothing going on. Rivera, the runner at first, is not a fast runner at all. But the Giants just saw the Dodgers execute a hit and run. And they know Mattingly has been using strategies like that as the Dodgers have struggled, like a lot of teams have struggled this year, to generate runs. He's not running. Back to Vogelsong. He juggled it. He gets one. Back to first. Double play. Beautifully turned at second by Brandon Crawford, and a nice stretch by Huff.
Smart move. It's not just luxury, it's smarter than that. Feel smarter at Lincoln.com. Let's take a look at the turn from Brandon Crawford. A perfect feed from Ryan Vogelsong, but the exchange is all-star caliber. Look at the throw and look at this exchange. That's all arm, folks, and he throws it over there in time. They get Loney, they complete the deuce, and they keep Kim from scoring, and that's how the inning ends. But boy, Brandon Crawford, that's the play of the night. Lincoln's smart move.
That saved a run, literally. Pablo Sandoval, high and deep, way back there, and adios, pelota! Way out of here, toward the big part of the yard. What a shot by Pablo Sandoval on a high fastball. 1-0 Giants.
Well, let's make it our Volkswagen hit of the game, brought to you by Volkswagen. Going, gone event. Great deals are here, but not for long. Visit VWDealer.com. That was not a hanger. That's exactly where Billingsley wanted to throw that pitch. That was right to the scout report, and the Panda just beat the scout report.
And a foul out of play by Sherholtz. 1-0 Giants. A jolt of adrenaline for this crowd. Pablo Sandoval electrified the stadium there, and he hit it out over the 20-foot high wall in right center field, which often is a graveyard for would-be home runs.
Well, I'll tell you the guy who's psyched up, and that's the guy selling the Panda hats. Watch the crowd in the background. Oh yeah, there'll be at least 500 new converts today joining the Panda army.
Down the right field line, Loney, Miles, and it is well back out of play.
Tell you, I mean, there's carry to right field. The way the flags are going right now, there's not a lot of wind. What wind you have is it's sort of trickling out to right center. That's a good night to hit one like that. That was a bomb.
One and two to Sherholtz, who hit a double down the right field line, his first time. And a curve in the dirt. 2-2. Sherholtz laid off.
Well, this is when he's been so tough with the 2-strike count. I don't care if it's 0-2, 3-2. He makes his adjustment. That home run by Sandoval, that's a strong man's home run.
Fighting that one off.
One more look. Kind of hard to see because of the twilight sky, but you see just how deep into the stands it went, right center. Yep. That's a big boy home run. Oh, yeah.
That two-seamer came back and caught the inside corner. One away.
Nice pitch by Billingsley. A little surprise two-seamer.
Aubrey Huff lined out to center his first time. Curveball misses. 1 ball and no strikes. Billingsley doesn't give up many home runs. That's only the 8th home run he has allowed in 120 innings. So every 15 innings on average, he gives one up. 1-1. Atlanta leading Colorado 7-4. They have gone to the last of the 9th inning in Denver, and Kimbrel, the young closer, is in for Atlanta. There's that two-seamer again at the knees. There you see it. Braves 7, Colorado 4. Last of the 9th. Broken back. This is Miles. Out number 2.
Giants Baseball is brought to you by Carl's Jr. and the new hand-breaded chicken filet sandwich. Now at Carl's Jr., and that's just the way it is.
From AT&T Park, I'm John Miller along with Mike Krukow, your Giants telecasters. NBC Bay Area and the Giants Television Network tonight. Back on Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. Tomorrow night, Dwayne Kuiper will be back with Mike Krukow. Madison Bumgarner for the Giants tomorrow against Ruby De La Rosa. We haven't seen him yet.
Have not.
Rookie right-hander is pretty good. There's Mad Bum. Just a bit low on the inside. Cody Ross fouled out to first his first time. Bumgarner, who has pitched real well, but only has 4 wins to show for it. Curveball whacked, and a base hit. Rivera playing it on the hop.
I'm not sure how well Rivera saw that ball. Man, that looked to me like that was a ball he could dive for. Hanging breaking ball. Cody Ross just nails it. A little sinker. As it turned out, it was a pretty good play on the one hop by Rivera to hold it to a single. And if he has a better look at that thing, I think he may have a chance to dive and get it.
In the spot where Tejada started the game, Brandon Crawford now. Tejada had to leave back in the 3rd inning. It looked like maybe he strained a groin muscle, although we have not gotten a report from the Giants clubhouse. But he did limp off the field. Brandon Crawford's first plate appearance, and he's hitting only 194. The hits have been few and far between here lately. Pablo Sandoval, everybody wants to see his bat. Remember Mark DeRosa during spring training, he thought that Pablo had the best wood of any of the hitters on the club.
Well, they say that about a lot of guys hitting 300. You know, I used to like to listen to the old stories about when guys would get so hot, they just pick up any bat in the bat rack, go up there and hit. Didn't make a difference what it felt like. And Kevin Mitchell was that way. And, you know, I believe Sandoval, when he gets hot, he can do the same thing. He can hit with a broomstick.
Runner at first, 2 down. 1 ball, 1 strike now to Brandon Crawford. And Crawford, who got off to a very hot beginning to his season, but the hits have not been there lately. In his last 6 games, only 1 hit in 21 at bats. Giants brought him up from A-ball from San Jose near the end of May. Rivera going back on the warning track. That ball carried well. The Giants get 1. The Panda goes bye-bye baby, as Russ Hodges used to say. A monstrous home run over that 20-foot high wall out there to the right of the 421 sign. His 9th home run of the year. That was a big turnaround inning too, as Uribe takes ball 1. Uribe struck out his first time.
Yeah, it was kind of like the battle of the hearts. Vogelsong was able to deny the heart of the Dodger lineup coming up, and the Heart scored on Billingsley.
2-0.
The Giants' heart.
Each team had the 3, 4, 5 spots to start the inning. The Dodgers had first and third, 1 out, and Vogelsong was able to get the double play ball from Loney with a nice turn at second by Brandon Crawford. A great feed by Vogelsong after he juggled the ball. That's a base hit. So Uribe is aboard. Lon Simmons is here tonight, as we mentioned, and one of his most famous calls, 1969, Willie Mays with 599 homers.
Swung on, hit deep to left. That one is way back, way back, way back. Pull it goodbye, number 600 for Willie Mays, and the bye-bye baby bonanza. And the Giants come to home plate to greet him. Number 600 for Mays. He hit it over the 370-foot mark. A standing ovation here in San Diego for Willie.
So Lon Simmons with a great moment in Giants history.
What were you doing September 22nd, 1969?
I was studying. Rod Barajas, and the count is 0-1. Willie came up as a pinch hitter in that game. He wasn't even playing. And he came up as a pinch hitter against Mike Corkins. And the Giants were in a pennant race. Those were all big games down the stretch of a pennant race. They and Atlanta were battling for the Western Division title. So that was a very big home run that secured a win for the Giants.
Boy, good fastball inside. He has really pounded the hands of the right-handed hitters tonight. And he set it up well. I mean, he's gone outside, establish a way, and then boom, comes right back on the inside corner, right at the belt.
0-2 the count.
Good fastball command tonight for Vogelsong. Big improvement over the last 3 starts.
Runner at first, nobody out. 1-0. The Giants on top. And back to the screen. Well, the report from the Giants clubhouse is that Miguel Tejada suffered a lower abdominal strain. Lower ab strain.
I used to have lower abs.
What happened?
Yeah, they're gone.
Must have been stolen.
I wasn't paying attention to him. This was the play going to his right, and as he planted his left foot, he felt a strain there, and he went down, and that was it. He had to leave the ball game. So hopefully it's not anything severe, and it'll just be something that a couple of days will fix, and he can get out there quick.
1-2 the count to Barajas. And the curve in the dirt blocked by Stewart nicely, keeping Uribe over at first base. The pitcher, Billingsley, is on deck.
As we mentioned earlier, Tejada is having a good month of July, hitting .341. A couple of homers, 6 RBIs. Don't like to see hot bats leave the lineup.
Vogelsong in a battle here with Rod Barajas. Barajas does have a lot of power. There's the hornblower, California hornblower, a vintage vessel on a Bay cruise. That's fouled. Back behind the plate. So Barajas hanging tough here.
Yeah, you don't see much 2-strike adjustment either with Barajas. I mean, he's up there on a search and destroy mission. He's trying to put the Dodgers ahead. One swing of the bat, plain and simple.
Diamondbacks leading the Brewers 3-0, top of the 8th. Josh Colmenter, the rookie, pitching for Arizona tonight. Giants 3.5 ahead of Arizona in the West. On the fists, Stewart. He's got it. 1 away.
Well, the Brewers are coming to town this weekend, July 22nd through the 24th, and that Saturday, July 23rd game is a 6:05 start, and it'll be Giants Country Western night presented by Scottsdale CVB, and Giants belt buckles will give it out to the first 20,000 fans. And Sunday, July 24th, will be a 105 game, and Giants Fedora Hat Day presented by Genentech, which means that the first 20,000 fans are going to get a Giants fedora. So go to sfgiants.com, get your tickets, and get out here early. Those giveaways go fast.
Billingsley in a bunt situation, and he bunts it foul. Huff rushing down the line from first, and Sandoval moving in from third. Everybody in the infield on the move. This is standard kind of bunt defense, including the pitcher. What's the pitcher's job in a bunt situation like this, Mike?
With a man on first base, you want to bunt that ball down the first base line. But with Billings, there's no guarantee if he shows bunt, he's going to stay there because he's a good butcher boy. A butcher boy play where you show bunt, bring it back, and you slash. A lot of different names for it: slash bunt, slug bunt, butcher boy. But you need to have a guy who can control the bat head, and Billingsley can certainly do that.
So if you're a pitcher, you don't want to just groove one because he might not be sincere.
Well, you know, they always say a high fastball across the top of the strike zone or a little bit above, that's the toughest one to bunt. That's the one that gets popped up. But against a good hitter, I mean, that's the easiest pitch to do the slug bunt with. The easiest area to defend is between the letters on your chest and the belt buckle. That's where a good hitter like Billingsley can beat you.
Giants ahead 1-0. Billingsley shows bunt, takes a called strike 2.
So to answer your question, against a guy like Billingsley, it's not a bad idea to think more down towards the knees with the fastball.
Tim Wallach, third base coach, flashing some signs.
Wallach will be a big league manager someday.
He had been the Dodgers AAA manager last year and a candidate for the job, given it Don Mattingly. Swings away. That is a foul. Still 1-2. Pablo Sandoval's fourth inning home run, putting the Giants ahead. Vogelsong working very, very deliberately here in the fifth inning after the leadoff single by Uribe. Rockies were beaten by Atlanta 7-4 at Coors Field. They're now under 500 at home. Here's showing bunt. So he's just trying to mislead him, isn't he?
No, he's definitely giving him a few things to think about, though. I just don't think with 2 strikes, though, if you're pitching against a guy and he's doing all the show bunt, pull back thing, it really shouldn't bother you.
And he pulls back, and he's gone.
Two-seam fastball, and that has been such an effective pitch against a lot of the right-handers in the Dodger lineup. And he shows it to Billingsley and ties him up in knots. Watch the elbows collapse. Yeah, get out of my kitchen. Good pitch. 5th strikeout. 4th one on a swing for Vogelsong.
So 2 down, the leadoff man for Kyle up. Furcal has been called out on strikes and reached on the Tejada error. Fontenot plays the high hop, hurries over to first, and the inning is over. 1-0 Giants as we go to the last of the fifth. Miles per gallon. For details, visit shophonda.com. The Pirates are getting serious. They are in second place, tied with the Cardinals in the Central, and the Cincinnati Reds are in 4th, and the Reds are trailing Pittsburgh 2-0, top of the 8th in Pittsburgh. Cubs over the Phillies. They beat Roy Halladay. Florida over the Mets. Hanley Ramirez 2 for 4. And then Washington over Houston. Home run for Michael Morse in that game. First ball swinging. Stewart pops one up. Foul ground. Loney. And Stewart has fouled out twice. Also in the National League, Atlanta over Colorado at Coors Field. A home run for rookie Freddie Freeman, who's having an excellent rookie year. In Arizona with a 3-0 lead. Back of Josh Colmenter there in the last of the 8th in the desert. Ryan Vogelsong grounded out to second his first time. Just below the knees, ball one. How about the Pirates? They're not going anywhere. And these are the big games. Cincinnati's had a hard time getting anything together on a consistent basis. They were the champions of that division last year. One thing you could always count on is there were generally about 3 teams in any given year that you could just beat up on in that division. But not this year. The Pirates, who've been a perennial team to beat up, and they are hanging in there big time. On the American League out-of-town scoreboard, Cleveland and Minnesota played a doubleheader, and Cleveland won both of the games at Target Field in Minneapolis. The Red Sox, the night after they beat Tampa Bay 1-0 in 16 innings, scored 8 runs in 1 inning and beat Baltimore 15-10. They took it out on the Orioles. The Yankees beat Tampa Bay with a run in the 9th inning. And the White Sox over Kansas City 5-2. Juan Pierre, former Dodger, 2 for 5 for the Sox. He showed bunt, and Torres took one that apparently was below the knees. Ball one. Torres has popped to third and struck out. 1-0 Giants, 2 down, nobody on, 5th inning.
Yeah, you talk about the Pirates. It has been a great story. Pittsburgh has had 18 consecutive losing seasons, and you see some of the games or some of the clips of the Pirates highlights now. You look at and the stands are filled. They get good crowds now coming out to those games. Pirates fans are buying into it. It's a good team.
I read where they've sold out 10 games now. 2-1.
Good cutter. It's become such a good pitch for Billingsley, and it's a pitch that he goes to a lot when he needs to make a big pitch.
Well, those Pirates fans apparently never went away. They've been there, but there just hadn't been a whole lot to draw them out in significant numbers for many years. A franchise with a great history, a proud history.
Now, their PNC Park is a beautiful field, and they have done pretty much with their ballpark what the Giants have done with their ballpark here. You go to Pittsburgh and you see their Pirates history all over the ballpark. It's very well done.
Out of the deep right center field. Kemp way back there, still going back. What a play! Matt Kemp, somebody call a cop. Andres Torres just got robbed. Spectacular play by Matt Kemp. And more of the same in what has been his outstanding season.
Wow.
Before and after every Giants telecast on Comcast Sportsnet, authentic Bay Area sports. John Miller, Mike Krukow with you on NBC Bay Area and the Giants television network tonight. And here is Vogelsong back to work, throwing a called strike to Aaron Miles. The big hitters, Andre Ethier and Matt Kemp, will follow Miles here in the 6th inning. What a play by Matt Kemp on a ball that Andres Torres just clobbered. Facino will not be able to get to it, neither will Torres, as Miles just muscles one into the outfield. And Stewart, what happened? Stewart is.
The backswing may have come around and hit him on the head.
Wow.
He is seeing stars right now. Let's watch the backswing on the bat of Miles. Boom.
Oh.
Well, that came from out of nowhere, and if that happens to you, I mean, it really, really stuns you. When you're totally relaxed and your neck just gets jolted. Wow, that was solid. I don't know if he can continue, John.
Mark Grusbeck out, and they have a protocol now that they follow, inspecting for possible concussion or signs of a concussion. There's Bochy out. Help him to his feet.
Well, Bruce Bochy, an old catcher, knows what that feels like. A smile's a good sign.
So he will receive a pitch here into the watchful eye of Bochy and Grusbeck. And apparently they are satisfied that he's okay.
Now they'll keep a very close eye on him here the remainder of this inning. Big swing of the bat there for Miles, because now Vogelsong is going to have to go after the heart of this Dodger lineup down the stretch.
Well, here they are, the two big guns in the Dodger batting order. Andre Ethier at the plate with Matt Kemp on deck. Ethier 0 for 2 in this one. A little bit high, ball 1. Ethier, an all-star the last 2 years. And he has been struggling here lately. Has not had a hit since the All-Star game. 0 for his last 14 now. Giants middle infielders pulled in a bit. Double play depth. On the outside for a strike.
Good location. That's how you take away a 1-0 advantage. Hitter sitting in a 1-0 count. He's thinking he's got leverage. He dropped perfect location on the outside corner with movement running away from him. That's how you take it away.
Aaron Miles, the runner at first. Nobody out. And they show Miles that they're aware of him out there. 1-0 Giants in the 6th inning. And that'll go out of play. So he's ahead of Ethier, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
He kind of a little cutter in the outside corner, kind of came back, caught a little too much strike zone. I think he got away with one right there. I think Ethier's a middle away guy, and if you get the ball up out of the plate middle away, he'll hurt you. And he's a tough guy to defend because he uses the whole field. Saw him drive the ball earlier in this game to left center with some authority. Just missed that one.
There goes Miles. And a foul. So Miles now turn around and go back.
He picked a good pitch to go on. A lot of guys like that 1-2 count to steal on because there's a count. A lot of guys will throw an off-speed pitch, which is what they're trying to get when they steal.
One ball, 2 strikes. Miles was running on the previous pitch. He's not going. And a foul out of play off the third base side.
on, Dre. Come on, baby. Come on now.
They're in the ninth inning now in Arizona, 3-0. The Diamondbacks leading the Milwaukee Brewers. And David Hernandez, who's been the closer in the absence of J.J. Putz, who's on the disabled list, is 1 out away from closing that one down. Pitch out. Miles not running. 2-2.
Watch how late he comes out, and then watch the left foot take a step towards the pitcher, and that's a way that you can get a step closer to your target. That's perfect fundamentals by Stewart, executing how to receive a pitch out.
Up the middle. Crawford knocks it down and has no play. And here comes Matt Kemp with 2 men on and nobody out.
Now it was Kemp in the 5th inning broke the heart of Andres Torres. Torres hits a fastball we thought was going to get out of here. And Kemp, who had been playing shallow and really over towards the left center field side prior to the pitch, had to go a long way. It was just a little bit too much high. And it cost Andres Torres as Kemp made an all-star play. He really is a 5-tool guy. I mean, he's got them all. The arm, speed, hits for average, hits for power, and he's got the glove.
24 homers, 72 runs batted in. He singled to center his last time. He's 1 for 2 in the game. 2 men on, nobody out. The curve is low. This is the spot where Vogelsong has been at his best. He is tenacious when he's under stress. The batting average allowed by him with men in scoring position is 120, and that is the best in Major League Baseball this year. Pablo, nice pickup. There's one. Fontenot to first. 2, a double play. Another beautifully turned and beautifully started double play by the Giants. Back of Ryan Vogelsong.
And Pablo Sandoval is just every day continuing to impress with the glove. This is not an easy double play. Remember, you've got speed coming down the first base line. It had to go completely around the horn. A nice backhander he stays with, throws a strike, and Fontenot does the rest, and it ain't even close. What a great turn of 2 put on by the Giants defense. I don't think Kid can't believe it.
That ball was hit hard, and it was a wicked hop for Pablo. And not only fielded it cleanly, but promptly made that feed to second. And Kemp, despite all of his great speed, it wasn't even close at first base. So with Miles at third, Juan Rivera the hitter. The curveball, a foul.
You know, there's always that one play in a game that kind of defines your night, and that may have been the play for Vogelsong. Talking about nobody out, 2 on. Kemp up ahead in the count, hits a bullet to the backhand of Pablo Sandoval. And Pablo Sandoval, he just showed the Dodgers why he was taken to the All-Star game. That was a big league play.
1-0 Giants. 2 down, runner at third. That's down the right field line. Foul. Well, bad break for Rivera and the Dodgers. And just a strike from Vogelsong's point of view. 0-2.
I got to believe that Vogelsong is impressed with how far off the plate Rivera can go. Remember, he beat him in a 2-strike at bat his last AB with a cutter off the plate. And look at the body English by Vogelsong. Yeah. You're going to go away. You better go way away to Rivera. Up and in.
Popped up. Crawford at short, and the inning is over. Vogelsong was tested and got through it. don't wait very long. sfgiants.com. Ryan Vogelsong living dangerously the last 3 innings, but the Giants have helped him a couple of times with big double plays. By the way, with 6 innings pitched, that's 97 1/3 innings pitched and 97 games played for the Giants, so he qualifies for the statistical leaders and is officially at this point leading the National League in earned run average. It has fallen to 2.03 so far in this game. Jair Jurgens of Atlanta 2.26 will be number 2. Curveball, and it's 2-1 to Fontenot with Pablo Sandoval on deck. That hit the leg of Billingsley. Miles safe. Nice play by Miles, but not quite.
He almost got him. You bet it was a great play. Caught the left leg and sort of kicked right to him. That's one when you run down the line, you're saying, feet don't fail me now if you're Mike Fontenot. And he beats it out, and they'll check on Billingsley. But with those tree stumps he calls legs, it's hard to hurt those things. 4th inning, high fastball. And Pablo Sandoval says thank you very much and knocks it way out of here. It was a big boy home run, and that has been the offense for the Giants tonight. For Pablo Sandoval, home run number 9, and it was loud.
Well, Pablo had always had trouble with Billingsley in the past, but tonight a single to left on a 2-strike pitch, and then that booming home run into right center field. Loney on the bag at first, holding against Fontenot. He backdoors him with that little cutter, and the count is 1 ball and no strikes.
And this is really the first time that Billingsley has been in the stretch after the first hit. I mean, he gave up the home run, which was a leadoff hitter for when Sandoval jerked him in the 4th inning, but he hasn't had a leadoff base hit like Fontenot just laid on him.
2-0. Pablo is hitting .308 for the year now. And that does not include his RBI double in the All-Star game. And they say this one counts, referring to the All-Star game, but it doesn't count to your statistical rundown for the season.
Well, I think it should count if you get a hit, but it shouldn't count if you don't get a hit.
I'm going to confirm that with Pablo, but I believe that he would agree with you.
I think so. All right, nice play. You bring your glove, you get a ball. The young man says, that's my dad.
That's a happy moment. 2-1 the count to Pablo. Fontenot back to the bag at first. The only run of the game scoring in the 4th inning, Pablo's home run. Middle infielders are both shaded toward the middle and pulled in a bit. Double play depth. Coming right after him in a foul into the second deck off to the left.
Well, I've always liked that about Billingsley. I mean, he's not shy about the strike zone. He'll come at you.
You see how the Dodgers are playing it?
Pretty straight away, and I think you have to respect Sandoval's ability to hit the ball all over the field. You don't see many extreme defensive sets against him. Every once in a while you'll see a pitch him away, play him away defense, but for the most part you set your defense the way Abner Doubleday did when he first invented this great game.
And that ran off the inside. 3-2. Well, Pablo did a great job laying off that one. With 2 strikes.
Swings at that one, he blows his bat up.
Fontenot is running. Base hit to right field. Fontenot will go to third. That's 3 times now that Pablo has hit the ball hard against Billingsley and is 3 for 3.
Yeah, he had that little bounce in his step today, anticipating the Dodger-Giants rivalry. Said he likes these games. They're fun to play in. And he knew he had a good swing. And if you have a good swing, you can't wait for that first pitch of a game to start. Just rakes a 3-2 slider and finds a hole on the right side. The Giants have got it set up to do some damage here.
First and third, nobody out. And Nate Scherholtz, who has a double and has also been called out on strikes at the plate. And Nate has been a hot hitter here in the month of July. And he's hitting over 300 for the year now with runners in scoring position. Dodgers will give away a run to get the double play here. Middle infielders in double play depth. Got the call. On the outside, it's 0-1.
That's a pitcher strike. Well, I agree with Matting. I think the way that Vogelsong is throwing right now, every one is important. And he wants to stay out of the crooked number on a scoreboard. He'll give up the one to minimize the damage. It is a fly ball situation for Scherholtz.
Oh, way inside with a cutter. 1 ball, 1 strike. Facino got the infield hit off the leg of Billingsley to start the inning. Just did beat the play at first base. Vogelsong in the dugout. Wouldn't mind a little bit of a bigger margin with which to work. Pablo singled Facino to third. Nobody out in the inning. Up the middle, base hit. Past the dive of Miles. Facino scores. Pablo to third. Nate Scherholtz hit it sharply enough to get it through the infield, and an RBI hit. 2-0 Giants.
They set up on the outside corner. Little sinker looking for that ground ball, and they get it, but it finds a hole right past the backhand effort by Miles. And you see Panda, he's getting all set up to bust out the player, and all of a sudden he realizes I got a chance to get the third, and an easy take. Nice at bat.
Crawford talking to Facino about his experience at the plate. Here is Aubrey Huff. Still nobody out. A run is in. 3 straight hits to start the inning. Huff is lined out to center, grounded out to second. And the slider outside. Now the infield, they're not in double play depth, but they're not in either. They're in halfway up the middle and short and second. And the Dodgers send Matt Guerrier down to the bullpen. The right-hander will start to throw. Curveball. A ball and a strike.
Totally took away that 1-0 advantage. Huff sitting fastball. Fly ball situation for Huff. Strikeout situation for Billingsley.
Too low. 2-1 the count. Pirates beat the Reds 2-0. The Pirates continue to roll. Charlie Morton got the win over Dontrell Willis, the Alameda native, back in the big leagues with the Reds. Sounds like he must have pitched fairly well, losing 2-0. No runs in support. Curveball got the call there. 2-2.
Huff thought that was high. Now if you're Billingsley, you've got 2 shots to try and strike out Huff. You have an open base. You do not have to go back in the strike zone.
Deep and foul. And that one is completely out of the yard. Maybe swimming with the fishes.
Well, you got the head of the bat out on that one. Yep.
2-2 the count to Huff. A run is in. The Giants ahead 2-0. 2 men on, nobody out. Cody Ross on deck. Struck him out. Foul tipped into the glove of Barajas.
That's exactly what Billingsley was trying to get. They elevate the fastball, and they get the Huff chase through it.
Now Cody Ross, as Barajas is out at the mound talking it over with Billingsley. Cody Ross hit a single his last time and is 1 for 2 in the game. Now a double play within the inning with no further damage. Sandoval over at third talking to Tim Flannery, the third base coach. Sherholtz is at first alongside James Loney, who will continue to hold on the bag against him. Now Barajas getting some signals from the dugout, and he gives that information, signaling to all the Dodger infielders. Sherholtz is a fast runner, and the Giants have been using some base running sleight of hand here lately. So the Dodgers want to be prepared for that. The Giants were able to steal a run just 2-3 nights ago in San Diego in a first and third situation.
Yeah, Bochy's not afraid to be creative in first and thirds.
On the hands of that fastball.
They sent that target away. That may have been a lucky break for Billingsley.
Cody Ross looks down at third base coach Tim Flannery. Flannery is Bruce Bochy's agent on the field. He's the one who tries to make sure everybody knows what's up and what must be done if something gets put on. 1 strike to count to Cody Ross. Right center field. That one is going to get in between them. Sandoval scores. Here comes Sherholtz, and he will score easily. A 2-run double for Cody Ross. 4-0 Giants.
Oh, and that's what they've been wanting him to do. Use the other side of the field. A lot of times Cody Ross would get a little pull happy here. He finds the opposite field gap, stays inside it, and this is a swing that he's been looking for. Fastball tailing in. Beautiful job of staying in. Knob lead, finds that gap on the opposite side. It's completely away from both Ethier and Kemp. And once it finds Triples alley, it's an easy score at first base, even from a dead start for Nate Sherholtz.
Brandon Crawford now. Only 1 out, runner at second. Crawford hit a deep fly ball to left his first time. Check swing and a foul. 3 runs in for the Giants in the 6th inning. Nate Sherholtz knocked in 1, and then 2 more delivered by Cody Ross.
Brandon Crawford's last at bat was a good one, as you pointed out, deep to left field, and they wanted him to attack the zone a little more aggressively, and that certainly was the case in his last AB.
Four hits in the inning. And the curveball, 0-2. Giants with a homer and a couple of doubles in this game. One day after an 11-inning game in San Diego where neither team had any extra base hits at all. Nothing but singles in San Diego yesterday. The Giants have some thunder speaking here tonight. Pablo Sandoval has been the big bat, 3 for 3. That one cuts off the inside for a ball. Sandoval with his home run in the 4th, and then he fueled this rally after Fontenot's leadoff infield hit. He singled him to third, and both of them have scored. And they're enjoying it in the Giants dugout.
Yeah, those guys conquered the fear of having fun a long time ago. Good pitch, back foot slider. Good take. See, you could do that when you're on the bench. You got a 4-0 lead. You can laugh a little bit, make a few jokes. Can't do that on the other side of the field when you're down 4-0. Life ceases to be funny when you're losing a ball game.
And the Dodgers have had their moments against Vogelsong. They've had chances to score. curveball is a foul. 2-2 the count. The Dodgers had first and third, one out in the fourth inning, and James Loney up, but Loney hit a double play ball. It was beautifully turned in the middle by Crawford. Another big double play with runners at first and second, nobody out, and Matt Kemp up in the sixth inning. Now the Giants have, in each case, turned around and gotten a run in their half of those same innings. Up the middle, that's a base hit. Cody Ross will score. Well, that's a big moment for Brandon Crawford, who has been struggling big time at the plate. 5-0 Giants.
And a hero's welcome for Cody Ross coming back into the Giants dugout. Oh yeah. That's when you love coming back to the dugout. When you know everybody's going to come in and want to touch you. And that'll bring out Don Mattingly.
So they're going to go to Matt Guerrier. Billingsley knocked out of the box with only one out here in the sixth inning. 4 runs in, the Giants ahead 5-0.
On Sportsnet Central every night at 10:30 p.m. Comcast Sportsnet, authentic Bay Area sports.
Brandon Crawford, a big base hit. He had only one hit in his last 22 at bats. So that one not only knocked in a run, knocking in that man Cody Ross, but it also knocked out starting pitcher Chad Billingsley. Touched up for 4 runs and 5 hits here in the sixth inning. 1 out. Stewart facing the new pitcher Guerrier, and a foul off the right field line.
And Guerrier's got the 4 pitches you would see from a starter, having been a starter at one time. Fastball, curveball, slider, changeup, low 90s fastball. There's his body of work. 3-3 with a 4.10 ERA, 27 strikeouts and 41 2/3. He's been a workhorse for the Dodgers, throwing more innings out of that bullpen than anybody else in that Dodger bullpen.
So Eli Whiteside with a count of 0-2. So Stewart got hit in the head with a bat, and hopefully this is just a precautionary thing. But
yeah, I'm sure it is. They're not going to take any chances after what they went through with Mike Matheny. Giants catcher that had a concussion and was never the same.
1-2 the count. We also, of course, have a third catcher with Hector Sanchez up from Fresno, joining the ball club in San Diego.
And really, I mean, if it got down to it, Pablo Sandoval could strap on the gear and go back there and close out a game, having been a catcher.
He's been the de facto third catcher. And speaking of catchers, that beautiful save by Rod Barajas on a would-be wild pitch.
There's Hector Sanchez, the newest Giant.
Talking to Dave Grester, Giants head trainer. 21 years old. He's swinging the bat well. First for San Jose in A ball this year, and then for Fresno, hitting a little over 300 for both ball clubs. The Giants with both Whiteside and Stewart. There are times in a ball game where Bruce Bochy might want to pinch hit for one of them. And anytime a manager voluntarily puts his second and only other catcher in the game, he knows he's possibly playing with fire, so it gives him a little more versatility as Whiteside hits one into deep center, but there is Kemp at number 2. Whiteside been swinging the bat well lately.
He really has made some nice adjustments to his swing. No longer trying to pull everything, using the middle of the field. Makes a difference.
Ryan Vogelsong 0 for 2 in the game. Wow, he had a pretty good rip at that one. 0-1.
Well, I mean, he's one of those guys when the Giants pitchers take their batting practice, they'll always have 2 starters against the other 2 starters, and they get a little game going, and he'll put on a show. He's got good power. He knows what he's doing with the bat in his hand.
Base hit. Well, he made your point for you.
Good athlete. Not a whole lot he can't do. Fastball kind of misses the target, down and in, and he just drops the head on it, extends the inning right back up the middle. So the Giants get to have a 9th hitter come up this inning.
He does a little toe tap.
Little tiny mechanism.
Yeah. How many pitchers do that?
Well, the ones that can hit.
So, in other words, not many. Here's Andres Torres, the 9th batter of the inning for the Giants. 0-1.
Watch the front foot. Little tap. Just allows you to stay back and stop the slide so you can use your back leg, a little drive, a little power.
Two on, 2 out, 4 in. The curveball misses. Giants have not scored more than 6 runs in any game at home this year. Tonight they're playing their 45th home game. So 44 games here without scoring more than 6 runs, which is an all-time major league record for the first 44 games of any team's home season. Every team in history has had at least one game where they scored 7 or more by this time. But the Giants, on the other hand, I think you have to add, they're 28-16 at home. They've averaged just a little bit less than 3 runs a game at home. Curveball. And Miles throws out Andres. But the Giants have a big inning. 4 runs. Sherholtz knocked in 1. Ross knocked in a couple with a double. Brandon Crawford with an RBI. in July, Jessica Aguirre and Raj Mathai bring you a special series of in-depth investigative reports. Discover the Bay Area's most compelling stories weeknights at 11 on Comcast Cable 3 and 703. NBC Bay Area is the proud over-the-air broadcast home of the world champion San Francisco Giants. And I'm John Miller along with Mike Krukow. Giants baseball on NBC Bay Area and the Giants television network. And tonight the Giants lead the Dodgers 5-0 with a 4-run 6th inning. It was a game like so many other games here at AT&T Park for the Giants this year, last year. Tight, tense. And then suddenly the Giants started putting hits together, one right after the other. And a 4-run explosion in that 6th inning. No home runs in the inning. The Giants had 6 hits, 5 singles, and the 1 double. Eli Whiteside stays in. Now catching after he pinch hit for Stewart. Ryan Vogelsong just below the knees. 2-0 to Loney. Vogelsong is once again showing himself at his best under duress. The Dodgers have tested him tonight. They've had their chances to score, and he just has not allowed it. 3-0. First and second, 1 out in the 4th inning. Loney was up.
Well, and 2 big double plays have really defined his night. A nice turn for Brandon Crawford and a good play from Huff to get the deuce. But here was nobody out, 2 on, Matt Kemp, and a beautiful play from Sandoval to Fontenot over to Huff. I mean, those 2 plays really have defined the night for Vogelsong.
3-1 now. Vogelsong, 5 strikeouts, 1 walk allowed.
But you know, we always talk about a pitcher can do so many things with the ball, and for Vogelsong, he can do about 5 or 6 things. He can cut and sink the fastball. He can exaggerate the cutter, throw a slider, curveball, changeup.
Sandoval picks up that squibber, and there is one away.
And with some guys, when you get into tight situations, they'll eliminate pitches. They don't believe in certain pitches in certain times. They'll go to what they define as their first or second best pitch. But I do not believe in defining pitches like that. But guys will do that, and there's 4 things that they can do with the ball they won't throw. But with Vogelsong, if it starts to get gnarly out there, he keeps throwing all of his pitches. So as a hitter, you can't sit on 1 thing or even 2 things. He'll keep throwing all 6 things at you. And that's what a pitcher does.
Uribe, he's 1 for 2, has struck out and singled.
Drives me crazy when somebody says, get beat with your best pitch. Well, you know what? If you can do anything with the ball as far as put movement on it, you should be able to throw it in a 3-2 count, or you shouldn't use it as a pitch.
2-0.
And the point being, whatever movement you can put on a ball, you can apply it to certain swing types, certain situations in a game. And that's what a pitcher does, and that's what Vogelsong does. And he does it with the bases loaded, or he does it with nobody on. And it doesn't matter. It's the same thing in his mind.
Well, I know you've often said that, but there are pitchers sometimes, maybe they've got 4 pitches or whatever in their repertoire. 2 of them, though, they feel real confident in. A 3rd one, they feel, maybe I could fool a guy with it. And the 4th one is sometimes just a work in progress. So they have the 4 pitches, but I think what you're saying is almost as if to say, well, not really. You don't really have 4 if you can't throw it at any time.
Exactly. That pitcher you just described to me as a 2-pitch pitcher. He's a guy that has 2 things that he can give you when it's 3-2 and the bases are loaded. But with Vogelsong, and this is really what has set him apart from other pitchers, is that he just will not give in to any count. He'll keep throwing his stuff and apply it to whatever guy he's facing.
He hangs that curveball. 3-2. That was his 103rd pitch. The Giants had the bullpen going for the first time. And for that matter, the Dodgers had the bullpen going. 1 out, bases empty. Here in the Dodgers 7th, 5-0 Giants. And deep and foul, very much foul. Shot right over the Giants bullpen, where the left-hander Jeremy Affeldt is starting to get ready. Giants bullpen been pitching a lot of innings lately as a group. 2 extra inning games in San Diego. Barry Zito also got knocked out early. in the Saturday night game there. So the 3 of those 4 games, the bullpen had some heavy usage. The other game, Tim Lincecum went 6. The bullpen pitched 3 in that.
Last 4 games, 1 earned run in 18 1/3, 0.49 ERA. Remarkable consistency from this Giants bullpen. Remarkable consistency from the starting staff.
Right past Vogelsong. Hit very hard by Uribe with his new bat after he cracked the other one. And he's got a 2-hit game. And he's not had too many of those lately.
Well, I believe he's tuning up a notch here, coming back into San Francisco. But he had a pretty good pitch hit right there. I mean, Vogelsong sitting on a 5-0 lead in a 3-2 count. He's not going to walk him, so you will bite off a big chunk of strike zone, and boom, it comes right back where he threw it. And he almost caught it.
Maybe hit the thumb of his glove. Here is Rod Barajas. Has grounded out to third and fouled out to the catcher. In there for a strike. Arizona won its game, beating the Milwaukee Brewers. Cole Mentor over Randy Wolf. Ryan Roberts hit a home run. D-backs have won 3 in a row. Popped up. And Aubrey Huff in foul ground. 2 down.
How many times have we seen Vogelsong run that bat in tight up the bat on these Dodger hitters? Right-handed, left-handed. Beautiful pitch.
Jam sandwich?
Jam sandwich. But I mean, he's really pitched well with the fastball tonight, much better than he has in his previous 3 starts. And in the little mechanical problem he had where he wasn't as reliable with his fastball command the last 3 starts, that's gone. He's had great reliability with that fastball tonight. When he's wanted to come inside, he's buried it in there.
Here's the pinch hitter, Jamie Carroll, right-handed batter. On the inside corner, strike 1. Carroll, 289 and a 359 on base average. He play all around the field. He's even played some left field. One of the 9 left fielders the Dodgers have used this year. But the only thing he doesn't do is hit with power. He has no homers and only 8 runs batted in. Curveball, strike on the outside. Carroll has 284 at bats and only 8 runs batted in. Hitting only 156 with runners in scoring position. Not that he has one out there now. He's got Uribe at first. 2 down. And the curve blocked in the dirt by Whiteside. 1 and 2. Scott Elbert, a left-hander, up in the Dodger bullpen, so it appears we'll see him in the last half of the 7th inning. The Giants ahead 5-0. There's Elbert, number 57. Giants outfield very shallow for Carroll.
Tough guy to strike out.
Going back is Cody Ross. Over his head, and then it bounces into the crowd. A break for the Giants, at least for the moment. Uribe with 2 down, running at the crack of the bat, would have scored easily had it stayed on the field. As it is, he'll have to go back to third. But Ryan Vogelsong will not throw any more pitches. That's number 111. And Bruce Bochy's going to bring in Jeremy Affeldt. Runners at second and third, and 2 down in the 7th inning. And a lusty ovation for Vogelsong, all-star right-hander Ryan Vogelsong. He departs with a 5-0 lead and 2 men on base, and he doffs the cap in appreciation. in the dugout, bringing the Giants into the 7th inning once again, as he has so often done in this season to remember for him. Now with the switch hitting for Kyle up there, a curveball from Jeremy Affeldt misses for ball 1.
And I think Ryan Vogelsong has the best tip of the hat in the game. There you see the numbers for Jeremy Affeldt through 47 games. He's been a workhorse. 41 2/3 innings, 37 strikeouts. And here's that tip of the cap we're talking about. That is a big league tip of the cap, and I like to see more guys do it that way. I know one thing, when he took his hat off like that, the ovation grew. Fans here appreciate that.
94-mile-an-hour fastball for a strike there. Jamie Carroll muscling up. Final pitch thrown by Vogelsong. Carroll, who has not hit a home run all year, he really launched one and bounced it into the crowd. His 12th double of the season. The only extra base hit allowed by Vogelsong in this game. Now it's 3-1. Aaron Miles is on deck. Affeldt pitched 2/3 of an inning in yesterday's game in San Diego, and had to throw more pitches than maybe otherwise he might have, as there was an error in the inning, and he walks for Kyle. We're getting dangerously close to the Dodgers' big hitters here.
Well, Aaron Miles has been money from the right side this year.
Miles hitting .316 for the year, and as a right-handed hitter, he's hitting .429. So here's the Dodgers with another opportunity to try and cut into that Giants lead, and if Miles can knock in a run or two, then the big hitters are up. Came right after him with a fastball.
Well, a good one too, 94. And 94 from Affeldt is a little different because he gets a little second stage hop there towards the hitter. It's got movement there at the end. So he gets a lot of ground balls off that fastball, especially down around the knees.
Uribe, Carroll, Furcal, the runners. Sandoval's got it. And the inning is over. And it keeps those runners from scoring against Vogelsong's record. Hand-breaded chicken filet sandwich. Now at Carl's Jr., and that's just the way it is.
That's just the way it is.
Giants ahead 5-0 as we go to the last of the 7th. Ryan Vogelsong, 6 2/3 shutout innings, 7 hits allowed, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, and his earned run average now officially leads the National League, 2.02. through tonight.
He was fantastic tonight. Really had that great fastball command that we've seen him have through most of the year. Had a little bit of a slump with it the last 3 games. Still pitched well without it, but tonight he was point on.
So he has enough innings to qualify. So tomorrow in the newspapers, or if you go online, he'll be number 1. As they always list the league leaders in all the categories, and then they qualify it by saying among qualifiers. And for a pitcher, that's the qualifier. You have to have an average of 1 inning pitched per game played by your team. Scott Elbert in to pitch for LA. 1 ball, 1 strike to Fontenot. Jamie Carroll stays in to play second base after he pinch hit for Guerrier, and Elbert will be slotted in the number 2 spot in the order where Miles had been. Carroll will get a chance immediately. Fontenot is now 1 for 4. It was Fontenot's infield hit that started that 4-run 6th inning rally for the Giants. And here comes Pablo Sandoval, who's 3 for 3 tonight, including a home run. Pablo will switch around, bat right-handed. He's hitting .311 for the year. He's hitting .319 as a right-handed hitter, which I think is one of the keys for him. 2 years ago when he hit .330, he was at his best as a right-handed hitter. He hit in the 360s batting right-handed. Last year, batting right-handed was sort of a black hole for Pablo. He never got it going last year as a right-handed hitter.
I mean, he was a different guy last year. I mean, he had 40 more pounds on him. And it really affected that right-handed swing. Affected his power. It slowed his hips down. I mean, hip speed is hand speed is bat speed.
And slider is a strike. 2-1.
When you put on weight, you lose that hip speed. And it definitely affects the power in your bat. Scott Elbert's got good stuff. He goes low 90s fastballs with a curveball slider. Pitched 2 innings in last night's ball game, so I was a little surprised they flip-flop. Do that when you expect the guy's going to throw a couple innings for you. For a guy that pitched 2 last night, that's rare.
And they've got a right-hander already warming up in their bullpen, Blake Hawksworth. The only other lefty the Dodgers have in their bullpen besides Elbert is Hong-Chi Kuo. And they usually like to use him late in the ball game when they're leading. 3-2 now. The Giants had this stretch of lefties with Fontenot, the switch hitting Sandoval, and then Scherholtz and Huff. 2 more lefties. I guess Don Mattingly decided he just couldn't pass that up. Three and 2 the count. And he struck him out.
Now Barajas called a fastball there, but Elbert shook off with the slider. That was a good one. Elbert, 3-2 slider. Drops it right in the pocket. Looked like Pablo may have pulled his head off that swing.
So here is Nate Scherholtz, who has doubled to right, struck out looking, and he singled home a run his last time up there. 0-1. Giants were ahead 1-0 in the 6th inning with 2 men on, and that's when Scherholtz got a base hit to make it 2-0 as Ramon Ramirez heads down to the bullpen. Affeldt is in the game for the Giants, and Andre Ethier is scheduled to lead off in the 8th inning for LA, a left-handed hitter. Back out of play, 0-2.
Well, that's probably what Ramon Ramirez is going down there thinking about, is that if Ethier, the left-hander, going to take it at bat against Affeldt, he's probably thinking about Matt Kemp, the right-handed hitter. And, you know, pitching coaches or managers will tell a pitcher, or a pitching coach to tell a pitcher that when he's getting loose in that bullpen, he's going to face Kemp or he's going to face a guy. And it helps when you're down there warming up thinking about the guy you're going to face.
Jamie Carroll gets the fleet-footed Sherholtz. 3 up and 3 down for the Giants, and we head to the 8th inning. 5-0 Giants.
Toyota is the most fuel-efficient full-line auto manufacturer, period.
Well, there's the big SF banner between the masts on a fine-looking vessel out there in McCovey Cove.
It really is.
Curveball from Affeldt in for a strike.
And they can light that SF up.
Oh, they just turned off the lights.
A lot of good attitude on that boat.
Another curveball. It's 0-2 to Ethier, who may be the only batter that Affeldt will face here in the 8th inning, with the right-hander batting Kemp up next, and then another righty, Rivera, after him. The right-hander Ramirez up in the bullpen. And that's it. He makes short work of Andre Ethier.
And here comes Bruce Bochy.
Ramirez will come in to face Matt Kemp. The Giants ahead 5-0. 1 out, bases empty in the 8th, and we will be right back. And Ramon Ramirez in to pitch for the Giants into his 38th game of the year. 2.35 earned run average. 38 in the third innings. 29 hits allowed. 33 strikeouts. 16 walks. And here is Matt Kemp. 0-1.
Nice tight little slider. So deceptive. And his slider is not a big one. Very, very quick. Doesn't have a lot of slide to it where it rolls away from here. It's a straight down biter, and it's late.
Oh, and 2.
Oh, like that. And he's done well against Kemp. He's faced him 3 times. He struck him out twice.
Well, Kemp does not seem to be picking up that slider rotation. 0-2 the count. Joe Montana, the great quarterback, here tonight, and he made contact with Matt Kemp between innings.
I read his lips. He says, if you were a real man, you'd have played football.
Out number 2.
Well, maybe he's just telling him he's got a slider you can't hit.
I have a feeling that that's what he was talking about. Yeah.
Joe Montana in the Giants clubhouse today. One of the greatest athletes to ever put on a uniform in Northern California. And here is that payoff slider by Ramon Ramirez. 4 pitches, 4 sliders. See you later.
Bruce Bochy invited him to come in and not only meet some of the players, but also to speak to the ball club before the game. I thought you get a quarterback who won 4 Super Bowls, he might have some words of wisdom to impart to the Giants. Still looks great too. It looks like he could go out and take a team downfield with a couple of minutes to go in a tight game.
Yep, handsome couple. He and his wife Jennifer.
Juan Rivera the hitter. Pablo Sandoval. It's been a vacuum cleaner over there tonight. 3 up and 3 down through the Dodgers' big part of the order. Aubrey Huff coming up. For California. See your California Ford dealer or visit yourcaliforniaford.com today. You got the lights going down in the city. Journey has, if the Giants are ahead going to the last of the 8th inning, that's the one they play.
Blake Hawksworth, the new pitcher now for the Dodgers. 30th time he's come into a game. 2-2 record, 2.97 ERA. He's having a good year for Don Mattingly.
Right back to Hawksworth. So Aubrey Huff was not up there very long. Huff 0 for 4 tonight. Cody Ross, 2-hit game going. And I liked how you pointed out the smiles in the Giants dugout. Not that Ross got a big hit, but where he hit it. Because he has not been hitting balls in that direction very often lately. He hit a 2-run double into the gap in right center in that 4-run 6-inning rally. So a good sign perhaps for Cody Ross.
Yeah, you got to use the whole field. You get pull happy, you lose. You try to pull pitches you shouldn't be trying to pull. You take what a pitcher gives you and you go with where that location is. That's when you all of a sudden start to see your average start to jump.
Breaking ball. And it is quickly 0-2.
That's when you get pull happy. I mean, it's real easy to get front shoulder pull out happy. And when that happens, you lose the outer half of the plate. Now, that swing he had on that double was something to build on. That's a good one.
Brandon Crawford is on deck for the Giants, who lead 5-0. 97 miles an hour. Wow.
Yeah, he's got a good fastball. Hawksworth got a changeup and a slider, and the slider is really a good strikeout pitch as well. He does not lack for stuff.
And he could not stop that one in time. So a swinging strike 3, 2 down. 96 miles an hour.
And you got to get started early at 96, 97. I mean, you can't, see it and think you're going to hit it, start late. I mean, you got to get started early on that pitch, and that's one that you will see guys go out of the strike zone to chase because they do gamble that once they get started early, that ball is going to be in the strike zone, and they'll follow it out.
Brandon Crawford swung the bat well since entering this game. 0-1. Miguel Tejada trying to field a ground ball in the 3rd inning. Injured himself, and we were told he suffered a lower abdominal strain. So Crawford came in the 3rd inning, has had 2 at-bats since then, has flied out deep to left, and has singled home a run. Changed up on him.
Yeah, an 87-mile-an-hour changeup. Kind of remind you of Jason Schmidt.
No balls, 2 strikes to count. And he puts him away. Very impressive inning for Hawksworth. 9th inning upcoming. 5-0 Giants. Xfinity is TV, internet, and voice services that work together so you can enjoy everything you love anytime, anywhere, and any way you want. And here we go on the shores of McCovey Cove. 9th inning. And Ramon Ramirez trying to wrap this one up. The Giants 5 runs and 10 hits. The Dodgers no runs and 7 hits. James Loney 0 for 3 is grounded out 3 times, once into an inning-ending double play. That's in there for a strike. That double play was one of the big plays of the night. The Dodgers were threatening to take the lead. They had runners at first and third, 1 out, and Loney up there. And the Giants turned a beautiful double play on a ball that hit back to Vogelsong that he initially juggled. Although I think it really showed just how cool and calm Vogelsong is at all times as he recovered on that double play.
Well, I thought they were lucky to get one, but the play was made as he stayed with it, and Brandon Crawford just makes an incredible play. No lower body. That's just rocks back and slings it with no stride and gets enough on the throw and enough accuracy to complete the pair, and that ended the threat for the Dodgers. Giants really have been outstanding with the gloves tonight.
Sandoval on the move. Nope, not quite. One and 2 the count to Loney.
Chance for the Panda to get a little grass stain on his uni. He likes it.
Pablo, a 3-hit game, 3 for 4. Right after the Giants got out of that jam in the 4th inning on that double play that we just saw, Pablo led off the last half of that inning and blasted a spectacular home run. A big fly. Hanging, and Ross. One away.
More good defense. Guy makes a play like that, you got to pat the guy that put him there on the back, and that's Roberto Kelly. They brought in Cody Ross, a few steps from normal positioning in left field, and that enabled him to get to that ball.
And here comes Uribe, who is 2 for 3 in the game back here in San Francisco. Ball 1. The Giants also got a beautifully turned double play in the 6th inning when the Dodgers had a threat. They had runners at first and second, nobody out, and their great cleanup hitter Matt Kemp at the plate, having a big year. And it was Pablo who started that one. And the Dodgers were again shut down as that one goes out of play. So 2 big double plays, and then the Giants responded each time by scoring in their half of the very same inning. It's been a very strong game for Pablo Sandoval and the Giants. Ryan Vogelsong is in line for his 7th win of the year. Back, medium deep center, Torres. 2 down. There's that double play in the 6th with Kemp batting.
Just right to his backhand, a perfect feed to Fontenot. And when all said and done, even despite the speed that Kemp can put on a play, it wasn't even close. And Pablo Sandoval applauded that one, as we all should.
42,323, the paid crowd. Everybody standing with one final beat LA echoing through the stands. Strike 1 to Barajas. 5-0 Giants in the 9th. Barajas is grounded out to third, fouled out to the catcher, and fouled out to first. He's 0 for 3. Called a strike.
Look at that outside corner. I mean, he can shave corners with that slider too, because it doesn't have tilt slide that moves away from a right-handed hitter because of that straight down action. It's an accurate slider.
The Giants have beaten LA. The strikeout wraps it up. The Giants shut out the Dodgers 5-0 and maintain their 3.5 game edge over Arizona in the West. Now 10.5 over Colorado. And the Dodgers are 13.5 back. And Ryan Vogelsong with his 7th victory. So Vogelsong, who continues to be outstanding, and now officially he leads the National League in earned run average. Giants 5, Dodgers nothing. Stay with us. We'll be back.